If content drains you right now, this video will help you get results faster and protect your energy. I'm breaking down 4 content habits that help me create faster, be more consistent, and actually feel good to maintain. I'm Natalia and I help creators like you turn content into income, freedom, and a brand you're proud of, so let's do this. Okay, so I never have enough footage or photos of myself because I've fallen out of the habit of recording myself and taking photos of what I'm doing regularly. This has been one of the best time-saving content habits for me, and I know it helps create content so much faster. Now, the key here is not just to, organize a specific brand photo shoot, but rather we're trying to capture whatever you're doing on a daily. And I really mean whatever. It's making tea, drinking tea, spilling tea. I know I do. It could be a visual hook, yeah, but you could literally be folding laundry. I don't care. The point is, if you get in the habit of showing up every day to capture even a snippet, it also builds a habit of creating in general, and it actually makes you much friendlier with your camera as a whole. Not only do you have a way to visualize your points, but so often it's the perfect background for content, even if it's not perfectly matched with what you're talking about. Next, I want you to schedule or plan at least 2 experimentation sessions every month. And what do I mean by this? You know how sometimes you scroll and you love a piece of content because of the format, of the way something was shown, of the new design style, whatever that is for you, I want you to first capture it. So you could grab a link and pop it into your Notion dashboard. By the way, check out my whole content system in Notion description. It's literally how I run my whole business, and it helps things flow so well. But you can also create collections for yourself. It's super easy to do on Instagram. You just click on Save Post, and then you can create a new collection, and you can have one dedicated to experimentation specifically. Now, obligatory side note here, we're not ripping off content. I hope it goes without saying, but you're playing with formats, hooks, wording, and making it our own. This first step is more about inspiration rather than direct creation. Also, when you're inspired by one creator in particular, it's super nice to give a shout out to that someone in the caption. I feel like it's a great thing to just honor their content and their originality, and this way it also builds connections. Back to it, same goes for TikTok. You can actually create a collection for yourself there too in a very similar way. So again, save and then new collection and you're sorted. Now, I also want you to add it to your experimentation reminder onto your calendar to review these at the same time and choose an experiment for the session. Now, as an example, if you found a few reels that use a similar type of visual animations, you can tackle this one as an experiment and find your own way of doing something similar. If you've got inspired by a few talking head TikToks where people addressed things in a similar way, maybe work on a structure of a TikTok that could work for your audience too. Maybe you found something just completely unrelated to your niche, but had an idea that could work for you. Experiment with this one and find your style. The point is, it's so easy to get stuck or just get in the same flow of things, but social media platforms do change rapidly. Things appeal to different people in different ways, so it's good to find new ways of doing things. Also, it lets you tap into your own creative potential more, and I feel like this precisely is what helps you become a better creator overall. I feel like it cannot be overstated. You have to get in the habit of planning and mapping out your content beforehand too. It frees you up so much and helps you be more strategic and focused. Now, I've been saying for years that what should I post today is never a good strategy, and I know so many people, especially business owners, that operate this way. And there's a good reason for it. You're too busy with all the little and big things in your business to just keep figuring out content too. But planning content ahead of time and ideally a small batching session to go with it actually saves a ton of time for you in the long run. The time you'd spend on hectically finding an idea and then bringing it to life right then and there could easily be spent on calmly planning, say, 3 posts for a given week, and then again, calmly creating them with a strategy in mind. By the way, I've posted my Refresh 2026 content marketing strategy video, so be sure to check it out next. It's a brilliant resource to understand the whole process and actually build a strong strategy easily, if I do say so myself. Now, I use Notion for this, and I have my own content flow dashboard where I gather ideas, I map out all the content, I create it, and then also figure out everything else I need for my content business. Again, you can check it out below. And I really want you to commit to a single planning session per week or once every 2 weeks. You can actually choose 3 content pillars to talk about consistently. You can choose 3 different formats. So say maybe a carousel and 2 reels, whatever works for you. The point is, again, when you get into the habit of planning and hopefully batching, this makes creation easier over time because you have more practice. And next, I want you to give your content a second life. So this habit, I really want you to start thinking about every single piece of content as the start of something and not necessarily the end. When you publish a really solid evergreen piece, whether it's a YouTube video, maybe a tutorial carousel, or a value-packed newsletter, don't just let it disappear into your archive, publish and forget. Add a tiny extra step to your workflow where you actually set a reminder to bring it back in a slightly different way after some time passes. So, for example, a month after a YouTube video goes live, you could share a reel with one core tip from it and refer your audience back to the full video. 6 months later, you could reuse the same idea as a refreshed carousel with updated visuals. And a year later, you could even repost the original reel with a new hook or a caption because your audience will have grown, people forget, and honestly, most of them have never even seen it in the first place. When you get into the habit of attaching these little reminders to your big evergreen pieces, you avoid the obsession of trying to create new content all the time, and you're simply giving your best work a second life so it keeps working for you in the background as well. In practice, this can be as simple as adding a second life checklist to your content calendar. So as an example, with my Notion dashboard, I have a little distribution checklist, and that's where I'm reminded to set a reminder to repost, right? So this is how I'm built, this is how I operate, and what works for me. But when you mark a piece of content as published, you can add dates to come back to it, even if it's just a quick story, maybe a repurposed quote, or a short summary post that points back to that original. You can also tag these as evergreen so you have a go-to library of posts that you can revive whenever life gets busy. And also, this can mean a simple repost in its entirety when you look at reels, carousels, and again, chances are the majority of your followers haven't even seen it in the first place. This removes a lot of friction and a lot of pressure from having to constantly come up with brand new ideas and helps you stay consistent without constantly being on the content hamster wheel. You're letting your content work for you for a much longer time, and you're giving yourself space to just create from inspiration rather than creating from like a panic state. And who doesn't like an extra piece of content just popping up on their calendar that they don't need to create, right? We all love it. Now, if you want to pair these content habits with practical Canva workflows that save you even more time, make sure you watch my Canva habits video next. You can click right here. But before you go, tell me in the comments what content habit you're committing to this month. Hit like if it helped you and subscribe for more content and Canva tutorials. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.